A sound bullet! Override!
Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider. Shut rise.
Ready, go! A sound No chance of surviving.
Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, SHF Kamen Rider Vulcan Assault Wolf form. Now this is basically Kamen Rider Vulcan's upgraded form, his first upgraded form, and then he does have another upgraded form which I am hoping that a SHF would come out in the future. But here we have the form, and if you, for those who have seen the series, this form was basically shared with Shining Assault Hopper because basically they use a specific device to transform in this form. While at the early stages they only had one, so later after Vulcan Assault Wolf form was kind of not in the condition to transform, Articulation or Kamen Rider Zero-One used the device to transform into Shining Assault Hopper. So I'm going to do a comparison, and when you do look at it, you might see some similarity, like kind of similarities or some similar looking areas. But for now, let's get on to the review. So let's see what we get. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the SHF figure itself, and it looks amazing. The color scheme is looking good. The metallic silver, and I don't think the blue is metallic, but it does have a flat color feeling, and everything looks fine. And I think they did kind of fix a few issues with the shot riser, because when I first got the SHF Kamen Rider Vulcan, my only issue was the figure was that the shot riser on the belt, basically the gun, tend to fall off a little bit too easily. But this one I barely had that issues with this figure. It could be the fact that I got used to it, or maybe they did actually enhance the peg as well. And currently, out of the box, you get these open hands right off the bat, and you might be able to see these handle-looking things. Now, for those who have seen the series and had some, observation skills, you might have noticed that Vulcan, every time you look at his arms, he would, in this form, he would be pretty much holding some sort of handle, and they actually did replicate that as well. Figure-wise, that looks really good, but at the same time, it does become a little bit problematic when it comes to swapping out hands. And I just wanted to mention out, and I think I should take this off the stand at this point. Sorry about that. They did an excellent job on the head and the chest. I really love the chest, especially this piece where they actually did use a clear part in the front. I think they actually did use a pink clear part. Well, then again, they also did that with Shining Assault Hopper, so yeah. Alright, other than that, let's see what we get. So here we have its components or accessories. I'm not sure if hands counts as accessories in terms of figures. I am slightly starting to get confused with that. Well, let's see what we get. So weapon-wise, other than the shot riser itself, which is the belt itself, and we also do get, I forgot to mention that we also do get the Assault Wolf progrise key. Other than that, we also get weapon-wise, we get the authorized buster. So for those who remember seeing my Shining Assault Hopper form review, might have noticed he came with the axe. This is basically the axe turned into its gun mode. And once again, the way how the axe works is technically in the series he will straighten the handle and then open these sections up and then reveal the axe. But once again, I guess if they did that on the figure, it may not have been it did not look correct, or maybe the size would be problematic. So I guess this is why they did a separate gun piece. But of course, I do wish they could have just included this one with the Shining Assault Hopper as well, because he does use it pretty often. Other than that, here we have a bunch of hands. So other than the fully open hands that comes right off the box with the figure, here are the rest of the hands. So as you can see, let's start with the middle here. So here we have the middle with the fist. These are the basic fist hands, but as you can see, they also have these handles, and this one is pretty much molded in, so you don't need to worry about taking this one off. But the way how this works is that you need to pull off the hands, and then you have to pull off these parts, and then basically keep doing that to attach the hands. But I will show you guys what I mean when I go to the arms. So here we have the fists. So we get them for left and right, nothing too special. And here we have the hands. We have another fully open hands for posing. So we get a pair of those. And then here we have these pointing looking hands, but these hands are actually not really pointing hands. These are actually they're not trigger finger hands, but they are the hands to hold the shot riser as well. So this was the same case for Vulcan, his regular form. So instead of giving a full-fledged trigger finger, they do give these hands, because I guess in the show they do kind of hold the guns with this type of hands, where this type was their was their trigger finger pointing forwards most of the time. So which is why I guess they did this. So just keep that in mind. And then we get these hands. So these two are pretty much, they may look like they're the same hands, but they are technically trigger finger hands. But one is pretty much meant to hold this weapon. So one is to hold the authorized buster, and the other hand, the only one I can assume is that these hands are meant to hold the axe mode of the authorized buster, which comes with the Shining Assault Hopper. So yeah, it's kind of odd they did add this hand, but they did the same thing with Kamen Rider Zero-One and Vulcan form. They did add extra hands to hold the other weapons that they didn't come with, or you get my idea basically. So one is for the axe, one is for the buster. Just keep that in mind. All right, so we're done with the components. Let's see some comparisons. So number one, let's do some comparisons between his regular form and his Assault Wolf form. So you can see, you can definitely see some similarities, but I think they did kind of use the same mold, but once again, design-wise, they did a lot of different things with the aesthetic. So leg-wise, I think they did use the same legs as the blue side of the leg, where sorry about that, where they have these extra spikes on the side, and they think they did use that. And I think the feet might be the same, but the end spike here, but only for the blue side, and then they colored these end spike tips in black. Other than that, I think they pretty much changed every design here, but same like basic inner frame or skull mold, whatever they called it. So that's that. And then now here is a side-by-side comparison with Shining Assault Hopper. So later in the series, they basically uses his technology, his company's technology, to replicate this silver device so he can transform without borrowing it from Vulcan all the time. So as you can see some components or elements from Assault Wolf and Shining Assault Hopper, mostly the blue parts, I guess, would make sense. But yeah, that's just the way how it works. And once again, they did an excellent job in terms of designs for both of these figures. Alright, let's go over some articulation. So let's see what we got. So I did see D Amazing's review, and I think he does mention that the neck is a little bit too short, because it does feel like the proportion is slightly off. So I am aware that there are third-party companies that are making certain parts to make everything look right. So I guess they would make a neck joint, and somewhat I've also seen on the internet where they were also 3D printing out these shot risers to be on the more correct size or something like that. But either way, we have the head. The neck is, yeah, I think it's just because of the overall armor design, his neck is not standing out as too much than you think. But either way, the head can go down that much and then up that much, so which is not as much as you think. And then you can go to side pretty much, and then I think if you force it, you can go 360. But once again, human inside, no need to do that. And once again, they did an excellent job on the chest. Really like that clear pink color scheme going on here. And then the arms. The arms are pretty much your typical arm articulation. You can go 360, and then you can move the shoulders up and down, and can move the arm, let's see, not as much as I thought. You can go almost 90 degrees, but less than 90 degrees. It's just because of the design of the shoulder armor. And we have a 360 rotation on the lower arm as well. And then we have a nice double jointed, well, not exactly double jointed, but still you get my idea. We do have a nice bend going on here. I think it's just the armor design that is colliding with the joint, but we can go more than 90 degrees, which should be enough. And then on the arms, before I go to the arm guards, we can see we have another rotation on the bottom section here. So I'm not sure they go 360. I think I can force it to go 360, but I don't think it's meant to go 360. So you can see we can rotate the lower arm itself, but not the joint, just only the armor parts, to basically to reposition it when you need to do so. Okay, now for the hands. I'm just going to take this off just in case if I drop it. Okay, there we go. So the hands, as you can see, we have these handles going on here. These black cable or rubberish parts on the handle. The way how these works is that, or the way how you want to swap out hands is, number one, you need to pull this part out. You pull this part out, and you can see there's a peg holding these black cables. So you need to take these parts off. Yeah. So the way how you do it, you first take this part off, and then you take off the hands with the handle, and then when you, let's say if you want to attach a different hand, you need to put this black piece onto the hand, and then put the ball peg inside, and then reconnect that black handle into the arm. So it is slightly tedious, and you even have to do this for the trigger finger hands or any weapon holding hands as well, so to make it look show accurate. But if you don't want to do so, I guess you can just always take off the handle like this. Because in the long run, I would assume a lot of people would snap these in the long run, but still it works. And if you don't want to have that handle, you can always do it without the handle, because yeah, I mean, if you weren't really were really observant, you would not have noticed it anyway. So either way, but that's the way how the manual explains it, so just keep that in mind. Alright, in the body, we can go forward and backward like that, pretty good, and then side to side. No 360 on the body, because once again, that being a human, and I think it's just the overall design is not letting me do so. Alright, another thing, that the only one complaint I have is the progrise keys that are on the belts. When I first got Shining Assault Hopper, I was really happy that he came with a progrise key, a closed up progrise key. And it was the right size that I have imagined. Pretty much fat and has a nice amount of detail. But this one that came with the Assault Wolf, they changed the size and design here. They made it much more thinner. You are able to take it out. This one comes out slightly easier than you think compared to Shining Assault Hopper. They are much thinner and they have less detail going on here. Because for example, for the yellow one, like the Rising Hopper, the jump progrise key, you had these yellow edge tips going on here. This one does not have that, which of course I think this is color accurate, but still, it's much more thinner. And when you actually try to put it inside a weapon, the progress key that came with the Shining Assault Hopper, it would actually lock into place. You can actually put it in and it would be stuck in there. This one is not stuck. It's just so small and thin, it doesn't even plug in. It just falls off right off the bat like that. So I am slightly disappointed. And I think even in the early pictures, they were pretty much the same size as the Shining Assault Hopper, the key that came with the Shining Assault Hopper. So I am slightly disappointed at this. I'm not sure why they did this. Maybe they were running late, so they had to do it quickly, or they just wanted to save money. It's either one of those two, but I am not very happy with that. So I'm not sure how many closed progress key we'll get from the figure series, but I do hope they go back to their original size, because these are not that great. Alright, other than that, let's see what we got for the legs. So the leg wise, we have a nice size swivel going on here, a little bit on the stiff side if you ask me. And then we can go almost 90. We could technically go 90 degrees, but once again, it's just the armor parts that are blocking the way. And then we can go forward about 90 degrees, and then back not so much because of the way how this part is. And then the legs, we can bend it pretty well, and then the feet is pretty well done as well. We have a nice toe bend that goes up, and then we have a nice pivot, and you can go side to side with the feet, even 360. Alright, so we're done with the basic articulation, so I'll be right back with some equipment demonstrations, because there are some parts that you need to see for yourself. Okay, I'm back. So currently we started off with the authorized Buster gun form. So I basically did the same pose in the box where he's basically doing the double hand pose with the Buster. Now there's a few things I need to mention, of which I forgot to mention on the first part. So number one, the only part that I would consider fragile will be the head antenna. So be careful to not press those horns on, because number one, they are sharp, and I believe they are the most easiest parts to break among the figure, if you ask me. Now the gun, the authorized Buster, as much as it looks cool, it is kind of awkward to hold with one hand, because most of the time, because the handle is on more of an angled, being more angled, it does make it slightly awkward to hold it time to time. And I forgot to mention that for those who wonder if does the extra handles help with the grip of weapons or equipment, and the answer is yes. I actually did have less problems with the handles on the hands because the extra grip, because it does tighten up the grip. And another thing is that you don't need to worry about it being too tight, is that they actually, if you look at inside the hand here, they actually have an extra molding here so the handle can go through. So you're not technically forcing anything to go in. So you don't need to worry about that too much. Now, regarding the pose ability, I think because of the overall armor, there was one pose I was not able to replicate, was the double hand pose with the shot riser, because it just doesn't really reach the other arm no matter what I did. So, as you can see, I can barely reach the other hand like this, and I'm kind of forcing it, so that's not a good thing. So, I think it's just the overall armor that got slightly bulkier in certain areas, which makes it really hard to do the double hand pose. But if you can do it, good for you. Alright, so I think we're done with the authorized buster, so let's see if these figures can hold each with the other weapons. So for the Shining Assault Hopper, let's give it the authorized buster, and the Assault Wolf form, let's give it the axe. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I gave the axe to the Vulcan Assault Wolf form, and then the authorized buster to the Shining Assault Hopper form. So in the series, either Shining Assault Hopper or Shining Hopper form, he would be able to scan the weapon to his belt, which I would assume gives him the authorized to use the weapon, and also sometimes would give him access to do some sort of power shot, if I remember correctly. And he could do that, and sometimes he would scan the belt onto his belt first, and then sometimes give the weapon to the Assault Wolf, Vulcan Assault Wolf, so he can do the power shot instead. But either way, doing that pose is no problem at all, and I gave the axe to Vulcan Assault Wolf form. Of course, I did give an action base because this swinging pose, or trying to do like the front, axe chopping form, does make it front heavy, which is why I did give him an extra action base. And overall, that's pretty much it for the review. I'm very satisfied with the figure. They fixed the one issue I had, which was the shot riser falling off a little bit easily. And then once again, if there's something I forgot to mention, would be the Assault Wolf progrise key. They did an excellent job on the molding. You can see the blue wolf on the mold. The silver handle is pretty much well done, metallic, and you can even see the small symbol, rider symbol on the front. Granted, it is slightly missing a few details, but that's pretty much what you expect from an SHF these days, so I'm not going to complain too much. The only issue, or the only gripe I have with the figure, would be the closed up progress key. Well, as I mentioned before, Shining Assault Hopper came with a full-fledged closed progress key, which was, sure, it was lacking a little bit of detail on the front part, but it was the right size. While these ones have the okay amount of detail, but it's not the right size. It's much more thinner and does not actually plug into the weapons, which is kind of a big issue for me. But anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the SHF or Premium Bandai exclusive SHF Kamen Rider Vulcan Assault Wolf form. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.